So you talked a little bit yesterday in your keynote about the evolution of manufacturing and the different phases that we've seen. Maybe speak a little bit more about that. I really found that interesting. Like, where do you see manufacturing going?
Well, that's kind of the sky's the limit at this point. I mean, so what's happened now is you're just seeing a, what's the word? Well, certainly an infusion of technology, but basically a coalescence of technologies coming into the manufacturing world. So no longer is it something, for instance, we have PLCs on the shop floor, which collect data on machines, have been around for years.
Right.
So that's one stream of data. We have now RFID technology, which allows tracking, much like when we drive in our cars. We have the visual technologies, literally the things you can now display on the shop floor through our ERP systems. Well, they're all coming together, and as I say, whenever you see those kinds of technologies sort of starting to intermingle, the results can be amazing, because you start to get these smart systems going,
right,
that they're collecting data from a machine, they're displaying it visually, they're lighting up problems, they're allowing you to change the course of the manufacturing process to adjust to those things. They're sensing this data coming in from your customers that are now influencing what's happening on the floor. So these are all coming at us, and we've got some great examples that we've seen in our customer base, but I expect to see huge amounts more.
Yeah, that's, of course, it's the Internet of Things too. That's converging all this together, and we see a lot of that starting to make its way into the supply chain as well, being able to feed that information directly from your customers, their customer's customer, to the supplier to be able to take action, which is amazing, really.
And I think we have a rather few large customers that are using SourceDay that has transformed just how they do their daily business.
Right.
And the cost savings are there, but as important is the responsiveness of suppliers to get those components into the factory.
Yeah, I mean, more and more businesses, especially in the manufacturing and factory areas, the only thing really consistent is change. That's the only thing that's always going on, is the change, and being able to help suppliers, react to that change, to be able to take action is, I think, very powerful. So speaking of change, change management is always on the forefront for companies that are adopting technology and they're looking to try new things. Where do you see, or how do you interact with customers when they're somewhat resistant to change? How do you guys take that?
Believe it or not, if we get the audience with the management team, with the executive level, what we start really with 4 questions. The first is, why do you have to change? And that could be anything. That could be, and we look for emotion there. It could be competition, that if we don't react to that.
Competitive pressures.
Competitive pressures. It could be that our customer base is eroding and we need to rebuild. So it has to be something that's almost a risk to the business, has some emotion to it. Might also be very positive.
Right.
We have to change because we want to grow by 30% next year.
Right.
So whatever it is, we get them into that mode of having a why. Because if you don't have a why, I know it sounds like it's anti-selling, but one of our biggest questions sometimes when we're talking with our customers is, why are you doing this?
Right. Yeah.
Because if there isn't something there, they may not be successful. There isn't enough.
Right.
They may lose interest in it. So we look for the why, then we look for the what has to change, and then ultimately we look for who has to be involved and how must it be done. And
right.
So we keep following those 4 questions with them, and by the time you're down to the who and how, you have an active change program going,
right,
that everybody believes in. So
yeah, no, it makes sense, and you have to have buy-in from the upper management all the way down to the people on the floor who are implementing it. So it's very important. Well, thank you, Jim. That's really some good information. So one of the things too that organizations face, whether it be change or whether it be dealing with customers and all the things that are sort of driving their business, firefighting, right? Firefighting is something that a lot of organizations deal with. It's very hard for them to know what areas of the business they need to be focused on that's going to drive the most value. And I'm sure in your business and selling ERP solutions and consulting, that comes up quite a bit. So how do you help organizations focus on driving the business forward and not getting stuck in the rut of just constantly firefighting?
Yeah, so the key to that one for me has always been is to get to people to understand that we can't reward for firefighting. And that's a
Right.
very common, and comes from all the right emotional reasons. Someone just saved an order. They stopped something from being late. They turned a horrible situation into a good one. And the natural thing is to reward that. And then, of course, you want to give the attaboy, thank you for putting in that effort.
Yep.
But then you have to really immediately stop and say, how did we get into that situation?
Right.
And let's never be in that situation again.
Right.
We do a lot of this at Synergy. People go, you didn't get so mad about that. I said, I'm not going to get mad about the fact it happened. I want to know why it happened.
Right.
Because then we don't have to talk about it again.
Right.
So that's what we try to do with our customers. We try to get them to understand that firefighting is not, it should not be be rewarded. It should be taken as a sign that we have to go fix something.
Right.
And then we do root cause analysis, get to the root of the problem, and then apply corrective action. And once you break that cycle, you're on your way. But it is hard to break. It is hard to break.
Yeah, I mean, so many of the people in organizations, they always want to do the right thing.
Yeah.
They want to take care of the business, and a lot of times that means they get stuck in these ruts. And it's like you said, we need to figure out what's causing this firefighting drill that we're in. So,
And
very good.
It can be debilitating, which is another unforeseen thing that happens. If you're always firefighting,
Yeah.
those folks, they have energy, but you might find yourself in a situation where you might end up with some attrition just because it's just too many times.
Yeah.
So you do have to break the cycle.
That's right. Okay, well, Gene, thank you very much. We appreciate it today. We got a lot of out of this, and
Well,
appreciate
thank
you
you.
having us at Visual Focus this year. And I know my team is certainly excited about coming again next year and visiting with you
Well,
guys again.
Thank you so much for coming. You guys bring a lot to the conference, and this whole idea of extending the supply chain right to your vendors in the way that you guys are doing it is phenomenal.
Great. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you, Gene.
Thank you.